Hello everybody, welcome everybody to the brand new Ford Ecosport. This is the latest one on sale right now, and the car I have with me is the automatic Petrol, top of the line, Titanium Plus. So the changes on these ones are basically, you can see there's a new face, it's got a new grille, it's got a new headlight, bumper changes, you know, the fog light has moved a little down, the indicator is shifted to the fog light casing, and the main differences are basically within the hood. It has a new 3-cylinder Dragon 1.5 engine and made it to a torque converter this time, not a DCT dual clutch how it was before. The old one was a 1.5 Ti VCT. It was cool. It was a 4-cylinder engine, but it had a DCT, and which, personally speaking, I didn't have good experiences with. But finally, this has a new, better gearbox. It's a torque converter, and I can safely say that it's much better than before. And you know what I'm saying right now, it actually reflects in the sales figures, because the car was a strong seller before, but now it's selling even more. And I can really see why, because A, it looks the part, and B, it drives really well. So let's see how the car is. So we're inside the car now. Let's have a look at how this thing drives. So initially, as this is an automatic, it's extremely stress-free to start in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and you can see the car is so refined. I have the aircon on, yet you can barely hear it, and it's cooling the cabin perfectly fine. The refinement is top-notch, and low-end torque is fantastic. I mean, I'm barely touching the throttle, and it's picking up speed effortlessly. It's actually pretty amazing how this thing is actually just, you know, I'm doing 40 and I haven't actually even pressed the accelerator that much yet. It's just easily ambling along, and I can only imagine this would be such a boon in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Great tuning by Ford on this engine, and it's actually pretty impeccable at the way how they've actually sorted this. The gearbox is finally a torque converter. It's not a DCT, so it's actually, funny enough, it's much more smooth than before. It was actually supposed to be the other way around, because what do we associate when we hear dual clutch? We think of DSG. DSG is, I think, probably one of the finest gearboxes you can find in cars nowadays, under say 30-40 lakhs. But Ford somehow messed it up. When they put dual clutch on their gearbox, it was pathetic. Sorry to sound harsh, but it was pathetic. It was very jerky, and it wasn't smooth. The smoothness you were looking for, or the smoothness you were spoiled for by DSG, you did not find it at all in the DCT. And I found that to be really shocking, how Ford could easily mess that up. But they've learned their mistake, and they've put in a simple, fuss-free torque converter in this, and it really works. I mean, it really works. And the best part is they've changed the engine as well, so it's much more refined. Although this is a 3-cylinder compared to a previous 4-cylinder, it's much more refined in that. And I'm just surprised how Ford even managed to pull that off. Another thing I'd like to mention is that another stupidity that Ford had in the old EcoSport was that the manual mode was selected on the gear lever, and that's really inconvenient to select, you know, because it's normally either you have the plus minus, a Triptronic feature on the gearbox, or you have paddle shifts or whatever, or you don't provide it at all. What Ford did was they put it on the gear lever, so there's a plus minus knob, which is really inconvenient. Ford has fixed that, thankfully, and they finally provided paddle shifts on the steering, so there's plus minus, and it's really much more convenient to use. I mean, it really changes your experience of driving, especially with the new gearbox. It really enhances the driving experience of the car, and I'm really surprised how Ford has taken feedback from customers, and they've really improved at each and every bit. And this is definitely one thing I would have definitely told them to change, and they have. Really proud of it. Rest up, you can see there's a new display. So the old EcoSport had an inbuilt integrated small display which could tell you your calls, details, radio station, all that data. It wasn't very good to look at, and it was a little confusing to get used to as well. They fixed this one with a brand new screen, and I'm telling you, it looks amazing. The graphics are so amazing on this, and it's got all the bells and whistles. It's got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the works that, you know, it's a norm nowadays. And more than that, it actually is a really fluid touchscreen system. You know, I can just scroll through the menus, and it actually just feels so nice. No lag, at all. And I actually would, you know, even go this far and say that this unit actually feels better than the one of the Endeavour, and the Endeavour costs like what, 35 lakhs. This car was around 12.5 lakhs on road. That's like almost 1/3 of the price. But this definitely has a much better screen than the Endeavour, and that's really nice to know. In fact, I think it's even better than the other rivals like the Creta or the Duster. As I reviewed the last time, the Duster had a pathetic screen. This, on the other hand, is just amazing. It's just the benchmark segment. Otherwise, they've changed the speedometer, the MID, and this is where Ford has taken a step backward, because the old EcoSport, it was basic, it wasn't very detailed, but they've gone back to an even more basic speedometer, and that's a real shame. Compared to how the package of the car is improved overall, they've really let themselves down on this, and it's a big shame, because I feel that, I mean, they have launched an S variant, which is a higher variant than the Titanium Plus. It's got bigger alloys and all that, but they've put a better MID and a speedometer on that, and they couldn't do it on this, and it's a big shame. I mean, they should have actually just updated the whole range with the same speedometer. I mean, Ford could have done a better job. You know, they could have provided better looking speedometer info, like the MID, because it looks really plain and it looks really old. I mean, that's the only downside I can think of in the interior of this car. Obviously, the rear seat space is the same as the old car, so if you have a really tall person driving, it's going to be really difficult to fit somebody of the same height in the back. The boot space is the same as well as the previous car, so it's adequate for most of the occasions. I mean, they've just taken a package and just improved, you know, slowly on other bits, on the things that needed improvement, and they've done a great job. And I have just no words to say, because I'm actually blown away, because this car drives the same way it is. It still is the best handling compact SUV of its segment. It looks even better now. It's a great interior now. I mean, they've just upped the package. It still has all the safety. This variant still has 6 airbags, and I mean, it just has the works, and I'm just so impressed with it. And on 12.5 lakhs on road, I don't know if anything can beat this package currently on the market. It's just amazing, and I'm totally stunned. It's a great car overall. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.